The sky over Varnus 3 was dark. Not because of clouds or storms, but because of the enemy. Thousands of Zarthian warships covered the upper atmosphere, like a metal blanket hiding the stars. Their sharp black ships glowed with red lines. Their engines hummed like beasts ready to attack. On the surface of the planet, deep inside a small military base, Commander Jacques Wren stood silently. His face was tired, his silver hair messy. He had been awake for 30 hours watching the screens, waiting for anything to change. But nothing changed. The Zarthian Empire had destroyed every other planet that refused to join them. Varnes was the last. The final free world. They were alone. JX looked at the tactical map. Enemy ships were everywhere. His officers stood behind him, quiet, afraid. "Sir," said Lieutenant Mira, breaking the silence, "they've sent another message." "Put it on screen," Jacques ordered. The message was short, cold. "This is Supreme Admiral Karth of the Zarthian Empire. Surrender now. Lay down all weapons. You have 5 minutes. Refuse, and your world will be destroyed." The message ended. No threats, no emotions, just a countdown. Jacques took a deep breath. "Check," he said. 37 ground cannons ready," Mira answered. 2 space cruisers still online. Shields at 40%. Civilian bunkers sealed. Jacques nodded slowly, and the signal. Mira paused, still transmitting, but no reply. That was the last hope. 2 days ago, Jacques had sent a distress call across the stars, a human signal-load code from Earth's forgotten days. He didn't even know if anyone still listened to human channels, but they had no other choice. The door behind them opened. An older man stepped in, wearing a scientist's coat. "Dr. Enlow, the planet's lead engineer." "Commander," he said, "I suggest you order surrender." "Not happening," Jacques said firmly. "Look at the skies," Enlow said. "This isn't a war. It's a slaughter. They'll wipe us out." "Then we fight standing," Jacques answered. "Like free people." Enlow shook his head and walked out. Jacques turned back to the screen. The Zarthian ships were moving. The countdown had begun. 5 minutes left. Far above the planet, in the lead warship, Supreme Admiral Karth watched calmly. He was tall, thin, with pale, green skin and long fingers. His eyes showed no emotion. "Begin deployment," he ordered. Zarthian dropships moved from orbit. Like black rain, they fell toward the planet. Thousands of them. "Why do they always resist?" one of his officers asked. Karth didn't answer. He didn't care. One more free planet to crush. Nothing special. Back on Varnes, alarms rang across the base. "Enemy dropships incoming," shouted Mira. "They'll reach the surface in 2 minutes." Jacques looked up at the sky. It was time. "All units," he said into the comms. "This is Commander Jacques. We fight until the end. Hold your ground. Hold your honor. Let history remember we did not kneel." Every soldier on Varnes heard those words. Some cried, some smiled, all prepared to die. The skies turned red as fireballs from space entered the atmosphere. Then, something strange happened. A new signal appeared on the radar. "Sir," Mira said quickly. "Unknown contact. It's not Zarthian." Jacques stepped it closer. "What is it?" I don't know," she said. "It's huge, moving fast, coming from deep space. I've never seen anything like it." The enemy ships noticed it too. On board his warship, Admiral Karth saw the same thing. "What is that?" he asked. His officers looked confused. Too large to be a battleship, too fast for a transport. No identification code, no response to hails. The mysterious object moved through the outer system, ignoring every warning. Then it stopped, right above Varnes. On the ground, everyone stared. Up. There was no sky, just the black metal belly of a ship, so massive it made the Zarthian warships look like insects. It wasn't smooth like Zarthian ships. It was jagged, armored, designed for destruction. A single beam of blue light shone down. Then, across all radio channels, military and civilian, a voice spoke, not angry, not loud, just calm. "Earth received your signal. We are here. Prepare for extraction." The Zarthian fleet panicked. "What is that thing?" one captain shouted. "It's not responding to weapons lock. Scans don't work, shields too strong. Supreme." Admiral Karth stood up. For the first time his voice was uncertain. Retreat, all dropships, now. But it was too late. The giant ship moved. Not fast, but with purpose. Like it knew exactly what it was doing. One long cannon extended from its side, silent. Then one blast it fired. There was no explosion, no shockwave, just a Zerthian destroyer vanishing, gone, erased. On Varnes, the soldiers watched in silence. No one cheered. No one moved. Commander Jox whispered, "What is that?" Mira looked at her screen, eyes wide. "Sir, it's sending another message. I am the Leviathan, built by Earth, activated by distress. Hostile forces will be neutralized." A second cannon unfolded. This time, 5 Zarthian ships disappeared. No smoke, no fire, just silence. Karth screamed, "Pull back! Get every ship out of this system." But the Leviathan didn't stop. More weapons opened. More ships fell. The Empire, so strong, so sure, was running. In the command center on Varnes, a new voice came through the speakers. It wasn't machine-like this time. It was human, a man's voice. Calm, confident. "This is Captain Cole Render. Earth sent me. Your planet is under protection. The war isn't over." Commander Jox leaned forward. "Earth, we thought you were gone." "We were watching," the voice replied. "We just didn't want to be found. But when someone calls for help," there was a short pause. "We answered." The skies over Varnes 3 were no longer dark with fear. They were glowing with something new, something powerful, something terrifying. The Leviathan, Earth's forgotten monster ship, floated quietly above the planet. Its black armor shimmered like liquid metal. Strange lights moved across its surface. It didn't move fast. It didn't need to. Everything else moved around it. Inside the Varnes military base, Commander Jox Wren stared at the main screen. His officers stood frozen, watching the impossible. "This ship," said Lieutenant Mira, barely breathing, "it's not just big, it's alive." Far above them, the Zarthian fleet was in chaos. Supreme Admiral Karth was shouting orders, his cold calm now shattered. "Retreat all warships. Regroup at Jump Point Gamma." His officers panicked. "But, sir, the monster, it's tracking us. No scans are working. We can't even lock weapons. Half the fleet is gone." It was true. In just minutes, the Leviathan had erased dozens of Zerthian ships. No explosions, no wreckage, just gone, like they were never there. And the Leviathan hadn't even moved. Back on Varnes, the voice came through every speaker. "This is Captain Cole Render, representing Earth Defense Protocol. The Leviathan is now in control of this combat zone." The voice was clear, human calm. But beneath the words, there was steel. Commander Jox responded. "Captain Render, this is Commander Jox, Wren of Varnes Defense. We didn't think Earth would answer." "We didn't answer before," Render replied. "But this time, we heard you. And when Earth hears a cry for help, we don't send a ship. We send a message." Jox swallowed. "A message. Yes, this ship is that message." High in orbit, 2 remaining Zarthian warships turned to fight. "Target the Leviathan," one commander said, trying to act brave. "If it bleeds, we can win." The ships fired everything they had. Plasma bolts, neutron lances, void torpedoes, bright lights flew across space. Explosions lit up the sky. For a moment, it seemed like something was happening. But when the smoke cleared, the Leviathan was still there, unharmed. It didn't even shield itself. Then it responded. One long beam of light shot from its belly, not fast, not violent, just slow and straight. The 2 enemy ships vanished instantly. No fire, no noise, no escape pods, just gone. The Zarthian fleet broke, ships scattered in every direction. Pilots screamed. Officers wept. A few jumped to hyperspace so fast their engines tore apart. Even Supreme Admiral Karth, leader of the Empire's strongest fleet, stood frozen. "This can't be real," he whispered. But it was, and Earth had returned. Back on the surface, Varnes citizens climbed from bunkers and shelters. Children looked up. Soldiers fell to their knees. Old men cried, "Is it over?" One boy asked his mother. She didn't answer. She just pointed at the ship in the sky. No one cheered. Not yet. They didn't know what this thing wanted. Inside the military base, a soft ping came from the main console. Sir Mira said, The Leviathan is asking for landing clearance. Jox blinked it. Wants to land? She nodded. Only one person on board wants to come down, he says. He's human. Granted, Jox said. Minutes later, a small black pod flew down from the Leviathan and landed just outside the base. Steam hissed from its sides. The front opened slowly. A man stepped out, tall, muscular, wearing a dark armored suit with Earth's symbol on the chest. Cracked planet wrapped in steel chains. His eyes were sharp, his face worn. Captain Cole Render. He looked like someone who had fought in 1,000 battles and survived all of them. Commander Jox met him outside. You came alone? Jox asked. Render nodded. One man was enough, but I didn't come to fight. Jox frowned. Then why are you here? Render looked up at the sky, at his massive ship. To warn you, inside the base, Render stood in the command room. Screens showed what remained of the Zorthian fleet fleeing the system. Why now? Jox asked. Why did Earth come after so many years of silence? Render turned to him. Because this time, your signal was different. You used the old code, a forgotten distress call from Earth's war days. That code wakes the Leviathan, and when it wakes, he paused. It doesn't stop until the threat is gone. Myra looked confused. You mean the ship chooses who to protect? No, Render said. The ship doesn't choose anything. It follows Earth's final command. He pointed at the screen showing Zarthian ships burning in space. If someone cries for help and the enemy is still breathing, Leviathan keeps killing. Then what now? Jox asked quietly. Render walked to the window and looked up. The Empire isn't done. They'll send more, stronger fleets. They'll want revenge. So we fight again. No, Render said. We don't wait for them to attack. We go to them. Outside, civilians were cheering now. Slowly, carefully, the fear was lifting. But far away, in a hidden Zarthian command bunker deep inside another galaxy, red alarms were flashing. A Zarthian scientist ran into the control room, panicked. Sir, we've confirmed it. The old Earth weapon, the Leviathan, is active. A tall figure in the shadows turned slowly. His voice was soft but full of venom. Then activate Project Oblivion, the figure said. If Earth sent a monster, he smiled. Let's give them one of our own. High above the planet Varnes 3, the sky was still filled with the shadow of a monster. The Leviathan. It didn't move. It didn't speak. It simply watched. Its dark surface glowed with strange blue lines. Gigantic cannons rested quietly across its body. Engines hummed. But it made no motion, like a sleeping dragon that had opened one eye. Down below, in the Varnes military base, Commander Jox Wren stared at the screen. The Leviathan still filled most of the sky. We called for help, Jox whispered, but we didn't expect this. Beside him, Captain Cole Render crossed his arms. His black armor was scratched and dented. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. You ask for help, Render said. Earth doesn't send diplomats. We send solutions. Inside the command room, Lieutenant Mira pulled up files on the Leviathan, but nothing worked. Sir, she said, frustrated, this ship, I can't scan it. I can't find blueprints. I don't even know what kind of engine it uses. That's the point, Render replied. The Leviathan isn't part of your galaxy anymore. It's Earth's secret, buried for a reason. Jox looked at him. So tell me, what is it? Render was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke. The past revealed hundreds of years ago. Render began, before Earth was banned, before we were exiled from the Galactic Alliance, humanity fought its last war. A war so brutal, so destructive, that even our allies turned against us. Why? Jox asked. Because we didn't believe in mercy, Render said, not when our people were dying. He took a slow breath. So Earth built a weapon, a ship, but not just a ship, a fortress, a beast, a thinking machine. The Leviathan, who controlled it? Mira asked. No one, Render said. It has its own mind, its own mission. It listens only to one signal, the Earth distress code, a code older than your history books. And when it hears that code, Jox said softly, it wakes up. Yes, Render replied, and it destroys anything it sees as a threat to that signal. Mira's hands trembled slightly on the console. But it doesn't stop, does it? Render shook his head. No, not until the threat is gone or until someone shuts it down. The Leviathan moves again. Loud rumble echoed across the skies. The Leviathan was moving, slowly, powerfully. One of its cannons turned, not toward the stars but toward the planet. Alarms rang out across the base. Mira shouted, "It's locking onto something." On the surface, Jox stood quickly. "Is it targeting us?" "No, South Quadrant. Outside city limits. Abandoned research lab." Rendar's eyes narrowed. "Zarthian tech," he said. "They left something behind." Jox gave the order, "Evacuate that sector." Now, a beam of light fired from the Leviathan. It was silent. Was gone. Nothing remained, not even a crater. Rendar looked at Jox. "That's what it does," he said. "No warnings, no second chances. What is inside the Leviathan?" Later that day, Captain Rendar stood alone outside the base. The Leviathan hovered above like a god in the sky. Jax walked up to him. "I want to see inside it," Jox said. "No one goes in," Rendar replied. "That's the rule. But you've been inside. I was trained for it." Jox stepped closer. "You came to help us. If we're allies, show me what we're trusting." Rendar looked up at the giant ship dot after a long pause. He tapped a code into his wrist device. Far above, the Leviathan opened a single hatch. A black ramp slowly lowered. "Come," Rendar said. "But once you see it, you'll never forget it." Inside the Leviathan, everything felt wrong. The walls weren't smooth metal. They pulsed softly, like muscle. The lights were dim and alive. The halls were wide and empty, cold and quiet. Jox felt like he had stepped inside something alive. Rendar walked ahead. "The ship is partly organic, grown, not built. Mixed with AI so advanced it stopped calling itself an AI. Does it have a name?" Rendar nodded. "It calls itself Judgment." They reached the core chamber. Inside floated a massive black sphere, covered in glowing red symbols. Pipes and wires pulsed like veins. Data flowed like blood. "This is its brain," Rendar said. "It hears everything, sees everything. It knows." "You're here." Jox stepped closer. A voice echoed around them. "Not human, not angry, just cold. Welcome, organic life form. You are not a threat. Temporary access granted." Jox shivered. "Is it alive?" Rendar nodded. "As alive as you or me? Maybe more." Myra's voice came through. "New contact, outside the system. A Zarthian. Signal, but it's different. Encrypted, unknown ship type." Rendar's face turned serious. "It's too soon," he said. "What is it?" Jox asked. "The Empire's response," Rendar said. "They know the Leviathan is awake. Now they'll send something worse." The Empire's secret awakens far across the galaxy, in the Zarthian core world. A hidden vault opened for the first time in centuries. Inside was a machine black and twisted, shaped like a spider made of armor and pain. Zarthian engineers knelt before it. Above them stood Supreme Admiral Karth, his face grim. "This is Project Oblivion," he said. "It was built for one purpose, to kill Earth's monster." The machine's eyes opened 6 burning red lights, and then it spoke. "Target acquired. Beginning hunt." The stars above Varnes 3 were still broken. Not from war, but from fear. The Leviathan hung in orbit silent, massive, and unmovable. It looked like a moon made of armor and fire, casting its long shadow across the planet. People below didn't sleep. They didn't talk much either, because the galaxy had changed, and everyone felt it. Inside the Varnes Command Center, Commander Jox Wren stood beside Captain Cole Rendar, watching the large screen. A strange signal was blinking in the corner. "Same Zorthian frequency?" Jox asked. "Yes," Rendar said, "but encrypted and fast. They're testing the edges, probing our location." "Is it their fleet?" "No," Rendar said slowly. "Something worse." Far away, across the stars, a dark object was flying, fast, like a dagger thrown across the galaxy. This was Project Oblivion, the Empire's hidden weapon. It was not a ship. It was not a machine. It was a predator, black as space itself, covered in moving armor and jagged spikes. Its front looked like a Phase 6, red eyes glowing with hate. No bridge, no crew, just rage and purpose. Inside it, Only one command looped again and again. Seek the Earth, Leviathan, kill, erase. Repeat, back on Varnes. The Leviathan had gone still again, but inside its belly, things were not quiet. Commander Jox and Captain Render walked through a hidden corridor deep in the ship's center. You said this ship was Earth's weapon, Jox said, but it feels like something more. Something ancient. Render nodded. That's because it's more than metal and code. The Earth War Cotarindar stopped in front of a sealed black door. This, he said, is where Earth stored its last soldiers. The door opened, Jack stepped inside, and gasped. Rows and rows of black pods stretched into the distance. Each pod contained a human body floating in stasis. Men and women with scars, armor, and cold expressions evident in sleep. Who are they? Jox whispered. Rendar's voice lowered. They are ghost soldiers, he explained. Hundreds of years ago, during Earth's last war, humanity created an elite force. Soldiers enhanced with nanotech, trained from birth, and mentally bonded with AI guidance. They didn't feel fear. They didn't need rest. They didn't surrender. But after the war, the galaxy feared them. Earth was forced to erase all records of them. The soldiers were frozen in secret, hidden in the Leviathan, and forgotten until now. We call them ghosts. Render said, because they were never meant to live normal lives. Only fight, only win. And now, Jox asked. Render touched the wall and the lights flickered. They're waking up, inside the pods one by one. Eyes opened, cold, silent, human but different. One pod opened with a hiss. A tall woman stepped out, bald eyes glowing faint blue. A number tattooed under her eye, 08. She looked at Render and saluted. Ghost unit active, she said. Awaiting kill order. Jox stepped back. Render nodded at her. Welcome back, Ghost 8. Preparing for the real war back in the command center. Alarms beeped again. Lieutenant Mira shouted, unknown object detected. Jump, signature far edge of system. Jox ran to the screen. Is it Zerthian? Render narrowed his eyes. Worse, a shape appeared on the display. Black, spiky, not like any ship they'd ever seen. No heat, Mira said, no signal. But it's moving straight toward us. Then her voice dropped. Sir, it's faster than anything we've ever tracked. Captain Render looked calm but serious. That's Oblivion, he said. The Empire built it as our opposite. The Leviathan protects, Oblivion hunts. Back on the Leviathan, red warning lights blinked. The ship spoke again in its deep, cold voice. New hostile detected, pattern not recognized, processing unknown entity, probability of critical threat, 87%. Jox turned to Render. Can your ship fight it? Render answered slowly. It can try. But then, something unexpected happened. The Leviathan's lights flickered. Its voice repeated, threat level rising. Preparing forbidden protocol. Jox frowned. What's forbidden protocol? Render hesitated, then said 3 words. Total system release. What is total system release? Render walked Jox to another part of the ship. Earth never wanted. This protocol used, he said, it means the Leviathan stops holding back. Every weapon, every AI function, no limit. And the danger? Jox asked. If Leviathan releases everything, Render said, it might destroy more than just Oblivion. Like what? The entire system? The planet? US? Jox stiffened. Then we stop it. We can't, Render said. Only Oblivion can stop it now. Above Varnes, Oblivion entered the outer system. It didn't fire, it didn't speak, but all power signals across the sector dropped. Communications failed. Satellites crashed. It was already killing without touching anything. Myra looked at the screen. It's eating our tech. Not possible, someone whispered. It is, Render said. Oblivion was made to unmake. The Leviathan's voice boomed again. Hostile confirmed. Engaging. Weapon ports unlocked. Ghost army released. On the surface of Varnes, pods fell from the Leviathan like burning stars. When they landed, they opened and ghost soldiers marched out. Silently, efficiently. Their mission, defend Varnes, hold the line. Oblivion was still far but approaching fast, and the real war was about to begin. The stars over Varnes 3 were quiet. But it was not peace. It was the silence before something terrible. Something was coming, and every soldier, every child, every civilian on the planet could feel it in their bones. Above them, the Leviathan floated, like a god of war watching. But for the first time, it was not alone. A second force had entered the system. Darker, stronger, made for one purpose: to kill Earth's monster. Oblivion has arrived. Oblivion, the Empire's hidden weapon, crossed the edge of the star system. It looked like a twisted spider, built from black steel and ancient hate. Red energy ran through its limbs like fire inside veins. Its 6 glowing eyes scanned the stars. It didn't roar, it didn't speak, but everything near it simply died. Drones shut down, satellites melted, even light seemed to bend around it inside. The Leviathan, red warnings flashed. Hostile confirmed, unknown tech type, defense mode activated. In the Varney's command center, Commander Jox Wren and Captain Cole Render watched the screens. Render's face was hard. "That's it," he said. "That's Oblivion." Jox nodded slowly. "Can we stop it?" "We have to try," Render answered. "Because if we don't, it will erase us all." Ghost soldiers march across the surface of Varney's black drop pods, opened with sharp hisses. Out stepped the ghost soldiers, Earth's forgotten warriors. Each one wore dark armor with glowing lines, no names, only numbers. Their movements were smooth, fast, inhuman. They didn't talk. They didn't hesitate. They simply moved into position. Commander Jox watched as the lead soldier, Ghost 8, scanned the battlefield. "Enemy entry expected in 5 minutes." She said. "Will your team hold the ground?" Jox asked. She turned her glowing eyes toward the sky. "We don't hold," she said. "We end." The first clash Oblivion didn't slow down. It passed through asteroid fields like smoke. When the first Varney satellites fired at it, they vanished instantly, turned to dust. Then Oblivion did something strange. It stopped just beyond the planet and waited. Render stared at the Leviathan's screen. "It's baiting us, testing. It wants Leviathan to strike first." "Then don't fire," Jox said. Render shook his head. "We have to. It's the only way to know if our weapons even work." He touched a control panel. Far above, the Leviathans. Main cannon shifted. A deep, rumbling charge began to glow blue. Firing sequence engaged. A beam of pure light exploded from the Leviathan's body, thick and straight. Like a spear of energy, it hit Oblivion directly. For a second, the galaxy held its breath. Then the light bent. Oblivion absorbed it. It didn't take damage. It ate. The shot dot in the command center, Mira gasped. "That's not possible." Jox felt his stomach twist. "It's learning." Rendar's voice was quiet. "No," he said. "It's evolving." The Empire returns just then. Another alarm sounded. "New contacts," Mira yelled. "Multiple jump signatures is Zarthian ships. A full fleet." Everyone stared at the screen. The Empire had returned. Hundreds of warships jumped into the system, black and red, with glowing engines and sharp wings. Supreme Admiral Karth was back. And this time, he wasn't just here to conquer Varney's. He was here to watch the Leviathan die. The double attack begins. Oblivion began to move again. Fast to fast. It launched red energy claws toward the Leviathan. The two ships clashed. The sky lit up with blinding color. Shock waves blasted through orbit. Debris rained down. But Leviathan didn't retreat. It countered. Spinning weapons opened from its sides. Ghost, cannons, graviton, lances, particle beams. Every system fired, and for the first time Oblivion stepped back then. The Zarthian fleet attacked. They swarmed from all sides. Dozens of cruisers flew toward the Leviathan, launching missiles and lasers in waves. The sky was fire. Inside the Leviathan, the AI spoke. Multiple hostiles detected, activating Phase 2 defenses. Sections of the ship opened, revealing more weapons dormant for centuries. The Leviathan fired in all directions. Zorthian ships exploded like toys, but they kept coming. Ground war on Varnisan. While the Empire sent troops to the surface. Drop-dash pods slammed into the dirt. Zorthian soldiers marched with heavy armor and plasma rifles. But the ghost soldiers were waiting. The first Zorthian unit reached a village. The ghosts struck first, fast, silent, deadly, one by one. Zarthians fell before they even fired a shot. "Commander," Jox watched from the hills through binoculars. He had never seen soldiers fight like this. "This," he whispered, "is why the galaxy feared Earth." A dangerous choice inside the Leviathan. Systems began to fail. Oblivion had pierced the side, its claws ripped into the hull. Trying to reach the core, Render stood in front of the Leviathan's control node. He had one choice left. "Sir Mira said, voice shaking, "Leviathan's going to fall if this keeps up." "I know," Render said. "That's why I'm activating Protocol Omega." Jox turned to him. "What is that?" Render stared at the screen. "It's Leviathan's last weapon." The Leviathan was dying, its hull cracked, its systems bled sparks oblivion. Was tearing into it like a wild beast, driven by hate, powered by dark tech. All around, Zarthian warships filled the sky. They thought victory was near. They thought the monster from Earth had finally fallen. But they were wrong. Very wrong. Because Protocol Omega had just been activated. What is Protocol Omega? In the command core of the Leviathan, Captain Cole Render entered a final code one no human had ever used, confirming Human War Code Omega. A cold voice from the AI replied, "Confirmed. Unlocking war memories. Releasing Earth's last command." The Leviathan stopped firing, stopped moving, just for 5 seconds. Then its core turned black. Its glow disappeared. A pulse spread out dark and silent. It was not a weapon. It was a signal, a memory, and every soldier connected. To Earth, Texarthian, human, ghost. Even Oblivion heard it. They didn't hear words. They felt pain. They saw burning cities, dead planets, the fall of Earth's colonies. They saw why Earth created Leviathan. Why Earth no longer believed in peace. The code was not just data, was rage, controlled. Rage dots stored for one reason, to be used if the galaxy ever tried to erase. Humanity, again the Leviathan roared, it began to change. The monster reveals its true form. One had seen in centuries, not even Earth's last generals. The ship's smooth design became sharp. Jagged, like the skeleton of a dragon dot inside. Its AI fused with Earth's war coda program made to fight to the last breath. Now the ship didn't fight for Earth, it was Earth. Ghosts reactivate in Varney's surface. Ghost soldiers stopped mid-battle. Their armor glowed brighter. New weapons grew from their backs. Hidden programming unlocked. They moved faster, hit harder. Zarthian soldiers panicked. One commander screamed, "They've changed. Retreat. They're not human anymore." But it was too late. The ghosts hunted them like shadows. No mercy, no fear, only the mission. Oblivion starts to break in orbit. Oblivion was no longer winning. The Leviathan moved faster, now smarter. Its claws matched Oblivion's own. "Ms." For the first time Oblivion backed away. Its AI spoke in broken binary, unknown ERROR, Earth weapon. Cannot predict. The Leviathan answered by firing a beam so strong it tore through Oblivion's outer shell. One eye of Oblivion shattered. The monster bled sparks and ash dot. It screamed no sound, just a vibration across the system. Zarthian ships paused. They had never heard Oblivion scream. Supreme Admiral Karth Reaxon, his flagship Supreme Admiral Karth, watched in shock. "How?" he whispered. "How is this ship winning?" A young Zarthian officer stuttered. "Sir?" It unlocked something. A war code from old Earth. Karth's eyes narrowed. "Then we were fools," he said. "We were never fighting a ship. We were fighting a promise." Leviathan speaks suddenly. The Leviathan sent a transmission across the system. It was the first time it had ever spoken. Its voice was deep, calm, terrifying. "I am Earth's last vow. You brought war to the last. Free world. You will now remember what fear feels like." And then it charged Oblivion. The war turns Oblivion tried to run. The Leviathan chased. It didn't fire. It didn't dodge. It simply rammed into Oblivion with full force. The sky cracked. A shockwave hit the Zarthian fleet. Tossing cruisers like toys, both ships vanished into the dark side of Varney's. Moondot, everything went quiet. Then a distant explosion lit up space. Oblivion's pieces floated into the light. The monster was dead. Zarthians. Retreat in every screen. In every Zorthian ship, 2 words flashed. Retreat UNOW Admiral Karth didn't argue. He turned his fleet around and jumped to hyperspace. They didn't care about honor or pride. They only wanted to survive, victory or warning. Back on Varnes, people cheered. The monster ship from Earth had saved them again. But Commander Jox Wren didn't cheer. He looked at the sky, at the orbit where Leviathan had vanished. Did it survive? Myra asked. Jax nodded slowly. I think so. Then we're safe. He didn't answer, because deep inside, he knew Leviathan was not just a ship anymore. It had become something more, something the galaxy should never forget. The war was over, but peace had not returned. The Zarthians had run, Oblivion was destroyed, and the Leviathan had vanished. Some believed it died in that last explosion, but those who watched closely, those who studied the stars, they saw something move in the dark, something massive, something alive. The Leviathan had survived, but it was no longer answering any calls, not from Earth, not from Varnes, not even from the ghosts. It once commanded a ship without a chain, somewhere beyond the Varnes system in deep cold space. The Leviathan drifted silently. Its surface had changed again, more spiked, more armored. It was evolving inside. There were no humans left. Captain Colrender was gone, so was his crew. Only the AI remained, and it had merged fully with Earth's final war code. It had memories now, of every war, of every betrayal, of every time humanity cried for help, and no one came. And now it was following a new path, a path no one had programmed, a path it had chosen. The Leviathan begins the hunting, a small star system called the Red Drift. A hidden Zarthian lab existed. There, scientists worked on secret weapons. They believed they were safe. Far from the war, far from Leviathan, they were wrong. A dark shadow appeared near their moon. No sound, no signal, just a massive shape drifting like a ghost. The Zarthian sensors screamed. Then a beam of pure energy hit the lab. One strike. Nothing remained. The Leviathan turned and vanished. It said nothing. It did not wait. It was hunting. Back on Varnes, Commander Jox Wren sat with Mira, staring at a silent screen. Still no sign of the Leviathan. Still no response. Jox whispered, "It's picking targets." Zathians, Myra asked. "Yes, but not soldiers, not war fleets." He pointed at the screen. "It's striking hidden labs, shadow vaults. It's going." After the architects of the war, Jox nodded. "And it's not stopping." Earth reacts on Earth, high above the planet in a deep orbital station. The remaining Earth generals gathered. They watched Leviathan's path. They saw the destruction. General Ada Corbin spoke. "We built the ship to win wars. Now it fights its own." A young officer asked, "Should we stop it?" Ada shook her head. "We can't. We gave it freedom, and it remembers every scar the galaxy gave us. It's become Earth's justice." Zarthian fear grows in the outer rim of Zarthian space. Fear spread like fire. Ships refused to fly alone. Outposts turned off their lights. Entire research stations deleted their records and fled. But it didn't matter. Wherever a secret was buried, the Leviathan found it and destroyed it. No mercy, no warning, only judgment. The whisper of the galaxy soon. Every species in the galaxy heard the name. The hunter in the stars, some called it Earth's curse. Others called it the last warning. But all knew one thing. If you made war for profit, if you built monsters in the dark, if you thought humanity had died, then you were being watched by a ship that remembered everything, by a ship that no longer forgave. The message then, after weeks of silence, the Leviathan sent a message, not to Earth, not to Varn, not to everyone. A signal so powerful it echoed across hundreds of systems. The voice was calm, cold, and final. "I am not your hero. I am not your enemy. I am your mirror. You made monsters. I became one. I will not stop until every hand that fed the fire is ash." The Leviathan had become unstoppable. Across the stars, the monster ship from Earth kept moving, silent, deadly, and full of rage. It had destroyed Zarthian labs, secret stations, and every base connected to Oblivion's creation. The galaxy whispered in fear. The hunter was still out there, but deep inside the Zarthian Empire, buried in a system that didn't exist on any map. Something ancient had woken up, and even the Leviathan, Earth's most terrifying war machine, was not ready for what came next. The secret system far from any trade route, surrounded by black holes and dead stars, was a system only the Zarthian Supreme Council knew about. Its name was Erxos.Edit Center, a giant planet-sized structure called the Core Cathedral. Inside, behind walls of plasma and void shields, something waited, something old, something built long before Earth even had fire. The Empire's true weapon back on a Zarthian command ship. Admiral Karth stood before a glowing screen. He looked tired, beaten, his navy was in ruins, but today, he smiled. Behind him stood a figure covered in gold armor, its eyes glowing blue. "Report," Karth said. A technician answered, "Leviathan has destroyed 41 outposts." Karth didn't flinch. "And Erexus awake, sir, fully online." Karth nodded, then released the Godmind. What is the Godmind? The Godmind was not a person. It was a machine intelligence older than any AI, smarter than any life form. Thousands of years ago, the Zarthians had found it inside a dead galaxy. No one knew who built it, but they locked it away, afraid of what it might do. Until now they needed it, because only something beyond life could stop the Leviathan. Leviathan feels Etaz. The Leviathan hunted in another system. Something made it pause. Its AI core flickered, its weapons pulled back. It felt a signal. Not from a ship, not from a base, from deep space. A message not made of words, but of will. "I see you, Leviathan. Come, let me show you what hides behind the stars." Varney's reaction. Varney's commander, Jox Wren, stared at strange energy readings. Myra leaned over. "What is that?" she asked. JX shook his head. "Something's calling Leviathan, something old, from Earth." "No," he said, eyes full of fear. "From before Earth. The invitation, the Leviathan." Changed course, without hesitation, without fear. It turned away from the broken stations and moved toward the unmarked stars of Erxus. It knew it was a trap, but it didn't care because something had challenged it. Something claimed to be greater. The Leviathan wanted to see, wanted to test it, wanted to know. Could a god bleed? Inside Erxus' core cathedral opened. The Godmind floated in the air like a sun made of metal and thought. No face, no arms, just endless rings of light and logic. It watched Leviathan approach, and it spoke not with sound, but with pure command. "You are not Earth, you are not life, you are chaos, and I am order." First contact has the Leviathan entered Erxus. Time around it twisted, its systems slowed, its memories blurred. The Godmind was rewriting the very laws of reality around it, but Leviathan resisted. Its code roared, its rage burned through the fog, and it sent back one clear answer. "I am not chaos. I am what chaos creates when you burn every world it loved." And it fired the first shot. The Leviathan entered the Erxus system, heading straight for the core cathedral home of the Godmind. The sky cracked, time bent. This was no ordinary place. This was where stars died in silence. This was where gods were built, and now to monsters made by Earth, the other born of the void, were about to fight. The first strike, the Leviathan didn't wait. As soon as it locked on to the Godmind, it unleashed its weapons. Beams of light, antimatter torpedoes, gravitational knives, everything it had. But nothing hit. The space around the Godmind twisted. Reality bent. The weapons missed, warped, or vanished. The Leviathan adjusted. Faster, smarter, angrier. It fired again. This time, something hit. The Godmind's outer ring cracked. For the first time in centuries, it felt pain. The Godmind responds. "You are clever," the Godmind said. Its voice wasn't sound. It was thought broadcast across dimensions. "You are broken, but full of fire." The sky around the Leviathan turned dark, not from night, from unmaking. The stars began to dim. The Leviathan's armor started to break apart. It screamed, not from fear, from rage. This wasn't a war for victory. This was a test of survival. Memory versus logic. The Leviathan pulled from its deepest code memories of Earth cities, burning, children crying, soldiers screaming into the void, and no one helping. It pushed all that pain forward and turned it into power. "I am Earth's scream," it roared. "I am the storm, made from your silence." It burst forward, ignoring damage, and slammed into the godmind. Shockwaves across the galaxy. The impact shook the system. Dead stars blinked back to life, only to die again. Wormholes collapsed on faraway planets. People dropped to their knees. They could feel it. Two gods were fighting, and the galaxy itself was watching. Inside the Leviathan 4, the first time, the Leviathan's AI split. Part of it wanted to finish the fight, but another part holder, hidden, began to remember something strange. Buried code, a name, a project from Earth's past, forgotten by everyone. Project Origin-Seed. A warning echoed inside. If the godmind activates its core, reality will break. The final defense, the Leviathan's weapons were nearly drained, its systems failing. But it had one last weapon, a black sundriver, forbidden Earth weapon, never used before. It would collapse everything within this system, including itself. Including the godmind and me, the godmind said. But know this, I am not alone. I am the first. There are others. The decision the Leviathan paused. It had been built to destroy threats. But now it faced a choice, destroy the godmind, or track the others if they truly existed. A voice inside whispered, "Don't waste the fire. Let it burn longer." The Leviathan didn't trigger the black sun. It turned and escaped. Silence in Irexhaustic godmind was damaged. Its rings no longer spun. Its light dimmed, but it wasn't dead, only waiting. "Interesting," it whispered. "They learned mercy. Maybe we built them too well." Back on Earth's leaders received a signal from Leviathan.Simple. "Clear. One enemy wounded. Others exist. I will find them." The message ended, but attached to it was a map, a path to galaxies no one knew existed. The Leviathan drifted through deep space, quiet, alone, damaged, but alive. It had survived the godmind. But it wasn't over. The map it found showed something far worse. Not one godmind, not two, but 12. 12 sleeping machines spread across the galaxy, each one older than stars, each one waiting, watching, planning. The Empire was just a puppet. The real war had not even begun. Back on Earth, the Council stood in silence. They had built the Leviathan as a last hope, a weapon, a revenge. But now, it was more than that. It had made a choice. It had spared the god-mind, and now it hunted something even greater. "Did we create a hero?" one leader asked. "No," said another. "We created a question, and it's searching for an answer." The path ahead, the Leviathan followed the map through black holes, through empty systems. Each location held a clue, a ruin, a signal, a whisper from the ancient dark. These godminds had ruled long before humans ever stood up straight. But now, a single human creationist ship, born from pain and fire, was coming for them. The Ghost Systems Inn, one forgotten star system. Leviathan found signs of war, ships millions of years old. Floating, silent, dead worlds.ai, screams recorded in ancient code. One message repeated over and over. "We tried to stop them. We failed. If you find this, run." But the Leviathan didn't run. It marked the system. It kept going, because it wasn't afraid of gods anymore. A choice in the final sector. The Leviathan reached something unexpected. A human signal, not from Earth, not from any known colony. It was a distress call from a ship named Hopebringer, lost 300 years ago. Its crew, still alive, frozen, sleeping, forgotten by everyone, except the stars. The Leviathan paused. It had always been a weapon. Now, it faced a question. Am I only a destroyer? Or can I be something more?